Welcome everyone. This is part 4 of the shadow work series, and today we are going to talk about challenging the ego, right? So, this is a very difficult or a tricky part, understanding ego, because see, ego can also be misjudged because okay, let me first explain what ego means, right? um, Ego is a part of us, which creates and protects the sense of I. Like we believe who we are, and we also think sometimes that people should behave in a certain way around us because we deserve it. We deserve the love, the affection, or maybe the respect people should give us. And that's true, because we do have certain boundaries, and people who don't respect our boundaries and respect have a sense of respect of who we are shouldn't be allowed in our aura or around us anywhere. That's true, but the main problem comes when we attach too strongly to our ego and too strongly to the sense of I, like who we believe we are. So that creates an ego, and might be okay. I'll give you an example to understand it better rather than just explaining it. So maybe you have a certain friend or someone who is quite near to you, and maybe not that close. You're quite good acquainted with each other as a friend. So you the friend might not actually want to be in a relationship with you, but he or she, whoever, uh, the person might not just outright reject you, but they might have certain preferences and things that they're looking out for in a partner, which doesn't seem to sit quite right with you. So how do you take that rejection? So ask yourself, how do you take a rejection? Is it you take it upon your ego that I'm not supposed to be judged because I'm a certain kind of a person who deserve the respect? Yes, you deserve, but don't you think it's the story your mind is telling you? Maybe the person is not disrespecting you, but this is a story because you're attaching yourself too tightly to your ego. That's making you feel the trigger or the anger. And I'll give you some reflective questions as well for this episode for challenging ego. How can you do it? Yeah. So ask yourself, so in this scenario, if you feel angry towards a certain someone because they have responded in a certain way, you have to judge it from the reality of what it is and not from the ego part of yourself, right, which tries to protect you. And ask yourself, why is the anger justified to be in your mind? Should it be justified? If so, why? Ask yourself. Maybe there's a grief, right, or maybe hatred towards a certain someone. Maybe the anger you had for someone converted into a hatred after some time because you feel that you were wronged in a certain situation scenario where the situation might be completely different. The person might not harbor such feelings or ill intention towards you, but you have, due to a certain circumstance or a situation, you have misjudged wrongly. So that is why you have to challenge your ego, the sense of who we believe we are. Sometimes when you too strongly attach yourself to that idea or a narrative, like, yeah, this is who we are. So yeah, that's how you can work with ego, challenge your ego. See, what are the trigger points? Like, there might be certain behaviors as well. You might see certain people who walk maybe in the street or maybe just normally anywhere. They might have certain behavior patterns which is very irritating. You all might have had certain experiences. You need to ask yourself, why is that I'm getting irritated seeing certain someone doing a certain thing? And is it something that is also unconsciously there within us, and that is the reason we are getting triggered? What is the reason for the trigger or the anger or the irritation? Why it still justifies itself to be within us? You'll need to question those. These are quite deep questions which you need to ask yourself. Sit with it, and make you have to deal with it so that you can make a you can make a judgment consciously and not automatically. You don't have to react to something just as an automatic impulsive manner. You have to take a conscious decision, or judge yourself appropriately, seeing the reality of what it is. That's what you need to do in certain situations where the ego is involved. So that's what is about challenging ego and what you need to do. We'll meet in the next episode, episode 5, to discuss more about shadow work. Thank you.